Welcome back to another exciting episode of the JS Developers Podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here as we continue our journey through the ins and outs of JavaScript, one of the most versatile and powerful programming languages in the world. Whether you're just starting out or you're an experienced developer looking to brush up on key concepts, this podcast is your go-to resource for JavaScript. In today's episode, we're going to tackle a fundamental and incredibly important topic: control flow and loops. These concepts form the backbone of dynamic programming, allowing you to create intelligent, responsive, and efficient code. They are the decision makers and workhorses behind the scenes of every interactive web application, helping you control the flow of your program and repeat actions as needed. So, you might think, why is control flow so critical? Well, without control flow, your program would simply run line by line without making any decisions. But with control flow, your code can take different paths, making decisions based on the data it processes. And as for loops, these are the tools that let you perform repetitive tasks without writing out the same code over and over again. Together, they empower you to write programs that are smarter, faster, and much more efficient. Stay tuned as we break down everything you need to know about these essential concepts, helping you level up your JavaScript skills in a big way. Understanding control flow. Control flow is how your code makes decisions. It allows you to direct the path your program follows based on conditions you set. Think of it as the roadmap guiding how different parts of your code get executed. Conditional statements. We start with conditional statements, which help us execute different blocks of code depending on the outcome of certain conditions. If statements, the most basic form of control flow. You set a condition, and if it's true, a specific block of code runs. Simple but powerful for controlling how your program behaves. Else statements. What if the condition is false? That's where else comes in. It gives you a way to handle situations when your condition isn't met, ensuring your program doesn't leave any loose ends. Else if statements. When you need to check multiple conditions, the else if statement allows you to do just that. You can chain conditions together, letting your code adapt to various scenarios and outcomes. Switch statements. When your conditions start piling up, switch statements come to the rescue. They provide a cleaner, more readable way to handle multiple conditions or cases without getting tangled in endless chains of if-else blocks. Looping structures. Loops are a key part of any programming language. They allow us to repeat a block of code until a specified condition is met. Let's break down the different types of loops you'll use in JavaScript. For loops, perfect for when you know the number of times a block of code needs to run. This loop gives you full control over how many iterations take place and is especially useful for tasks like iterating through arrays or collections. While loops, when you're unsure of how many times a loop should run but need it to continue until a specific condition is met, the while loop is your friend. Do while loops, similar to the while loop, but with one key difference: the code will always execute at least once before checking the condition. This can be useful when you need to ensure a block of code runs initially before conditions are considered. Best practices for efficient control flow. When dealing with control flow and loops, it's easy for your code to become cluttered or inefficient. That's why following best practices is key to writing clean, manageable code. Ternary operators. When you're dealing with simple conditions, ternary operators offer a quick, single-line alternative to if-else statements. They streamline your code and make it more readable in certain situations. Avoiding nested control structures. Too many nested conditions can make your code hard to read and maintain. By avoiding excessive nesting, you can simplify your logic and make future updates or changes a lot easier to manage. Early exits and guard clauses. Rather than wrapping your entire code in layers of if-else conditions, consider using early exits. By handling exceptions or invalid conditions first, you can reduce complexity and improve readability. Code reviews and refactoring. The final part of mastering control flow and loops is ensuring your code is optimized for readability and efficiency. This is where code reviews and refactoring come in. Code reviews. Getting feedback from other developers on your code can help catch bugs, suggest improvements, and ensure best practices are being followed. It's a collaborative way to enhance the overall quality of your project. Refactoring. This is the process of improving your code structure without altering its functionality. By refactoring, you can streamline your logic, eliminate redundancies, and make your code easier to maintain in the long run. That wraps up this episode of the JS Developers Podcast. Today, we explored the world of control flow and loops in JavaScript, essential tools for making your code smarter and more efficient. If you're finding value in this series, make sure to follow and check out the complete JavaScript Developer's Handbook for more in-depth insights. Until next time, keep coding, keep exploring, and keep pushing the limits of what you can achieve with JavaScript.